Why did your ex break up with you? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But first, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, please do me a favor by hitting that thumbs up button for this video. It does help us out with the YouTube algorithm. It does tell YouTube that this is quality content in your opinion, and that they should show it to more people who might be able to benefit from it. So, if you do like these videos, if you do like me for some reason, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel down below too. I'm a little bit late to the game. I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I'm slowly starting to learn actually how to make YouTube work. And I'm trying to catch up with all those other channels, so help me out, okay? Also, I wanted to let you know that we do have a new Facebook group. You can go ahead and sign up for it down in the description box below. It's called The Connected Couple. It helps you to, understand what's going on with your relationship. It helps you to connect with other people who maybe watch this channel or watch other videos in general. And it helps you to kind of share and bond with others that are maybe going through something similar to what you're going through. So anyway, link for that is down below in the description box. Okay, so what we're talking about in this video is why your ex broke up with you. And there are, of course, a lot of different reasons why your relationship may not have worked out, at least on the surface level. It could be like cheating, it could be a lack of trust, it could be, the spark has gone away, it could be loss of attraction, all sorts of things, right? Your ex may have told you any number of things. And that could be kind of the superficial level for why the relationship didn't work out. But generally speaking, there's something else happening deeper below the surface. And let's see, how do I put this? Okay, so there are really kind of two types of people that watch my videos. There's people that were married to someone and they're going through kind of a separation, a divorce, something like that. And there's people who are never married and they're just going through like a breakup, okay? And generally the people that were married, those people are familiar with the work of someone named John Gottman. He wrote a book called The 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work, and he goes over what he calls the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These are 4 traits that he says that he uses to predict divorce with a surprising amount of accuracy. And these 4 horsemen are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And these sorts of things, he says, if he sees this in the dynamic of a couple, he can predict that sooner or later they are likely to end up divorcing. Anyway, people that aren't in a married sort of situation, they generally are not as aware that this book exists and that this guy exists. But people who are married, usually they know about this. If you were married, then you probably already know about it. But if you don't, you might want to check out the book as well too. But anyway, these 4 things are kind of under an umbrella term that I go by. Anyway, this is not John Gottman's theory anymore. This is my theory. Called being on the same team. If you're on the same team with your partner, then you really don't have to worry about them being defensive towards you. I mean, like, why would you be defensive against someone who's on the same team? You wouldn't. The only reason you're defensive against someone is because you don't perceive them as being on the same team as you. You perceive them as being on the opposite team, and you have to kind of defend yourself against their attack or their, whatever they're going to do. Why else would you stonewall someone? Why would you not open up to them and tell them what's going on with you, how you're feeling? It's because you don't believe that they're going to receive it well. You don't believe that they're going to listen to you. You don't believe that they're going to be fair to you. And so you kind of see them as being on the opposite team, and so on and so forth. And so generally breakups occur because at some point the couple stops functioning as one team and they start to break off and start to see each other as separate people on separate teams. And this is where a lot of the 4 horsemen kind of come into play in the dynamic of a relationship or a marriage. I think that the 4 horsemen are present not just in marriages, but also in, non-married relationships as well too. And as the 2 people kind of separate and get kind of deeper and deeper and more entrenched in being on separate teams, that's when suddenly being in the relationship becomes less and less and less enjoyable, and the idea of something else starts to become more and more and more enjoyable. Whether that's just the idea of being single, whether that's the idea of dating other people, whether that's the idea of sleeping with other people, whether that's the idea of cheating or an affair or something like that. And that's where all of these other symptoms start to present themselves. It comes from not being on the same team. And so what you want to do in a relationship is you want to bring your partner and make sure that your partner is on the same team with you. And that's going to help the two of you to not kind of drift further and further and further apart to the point where some of these other things can start to happen. The cheating, the betrayal, the just wanting to be single, to date other people, all that sort of stuff. But you can stay connected to one another. And of course, you can stay connected to one another by employing what we call advanced relational skills. If you're new to this channel, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a video card up for the Advanced Relational Skills series right up there in the corner. Go ahead and check it out right after you hit that thumbs up button, of course. Gotta make YouTube happy. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do it. Seriously, please do it. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are connecting on an emotional level so that you can really keep that relationship strong. But this all is within the context of being on the same team. Now you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great. That's a good post-mortem. I can totally get it, but we're way past that. We're already broken up. What do we do? And that is where I would say to you, as long as you're still able to talk to your ex, as long as you are still able to communicate with them and they're still kind of receptive to you, you can still get on the same team. You can still have a conversation with them that says, hey, I know we're broken up. I know it can be confusing for you. Sometimes it's confusing for me too. I don't really know how we fit into each other's lives. Obviously, our relationship didn't work out, but at the same time, I still like talking to you, and it seems like you like talking to me as well too. So why don't we just agree, instead of doing this on our own and trying to figure this out on our own, let's just be confused together and find something that works for the two of us. And that's one way that you can bring them onto the same team, and that creates that context where the two of you can actually start to connect on an emotional level, build up that emotional foundation that maybe you've heard me talk about in previous videos on this channel, especially recently. And so that's what you want to do. It starts with getting on the same team. And of course, there's going to be a little bit of skepticism at first when it comes to being on the same team. Of course, they're going to be a little bit hesitant or reserved about it. And that's because the two of you may not have much of a track record of being on the same team over a period of time. They might like the idea, but maybe they're doubtful of it. And that's totally normal. As you start to be on the same team over an extended stretch of time, you're going to find that that trust in being on the same team starts to build up and up and up and up and up and more. And eventually they're going to start to realize, okay, yeah, actually we are on the same team. And they're going to start to open up more, and that defensiveness is going to come down, and they're going to start to connect with you more. And all of those four horsemen are going to, go away, and we can save the apocalypse for another year, although it is 2020. It is looking kind of apocalyptic out there, so who knows? Anyway, the apocalypse for your relationship may be deferred for another year. Maybe not so much for the rest of the world, but that is a story for another day. But yeah, we want to be able to build that whole same teamness, because that is going to be the solid foundation that keeps a relationship strong and keeps the two of you growing together and connecting with one another, whether you are actually within a relationship or a marriage, or whether you're still trying to figure out how you fit into each other's lives. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're just trying to figure this out on your own, and instead of having to try and anticipate your ex's next move or what they're thinking or measure what to say or what to do, you can kind of bring them into the conversation with you and say, yeah, let's figure this out together. Let's be confused together. And as long as they're open to that, I think that's a good way to kind of get your foot in the door and start to build that consistency and trust that the two of you can be on the same team. Now, of course, that's just part of the puzzle. Of course, there are other aspects of this as well, too. We'll cover those in other videos and in other places on the internet and all that stuff. But I think this is why most relationships that do break up happen. This is why most breakups happen, is because there's that lack of same teamness that comes into play, and it eventually expresses itself through whatever the weakest link might be. Cheating, just wanting to be single, planning out a move across the country without the other person, whatever the case may be. So thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, help me out with YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you do want to check out the Facebook group that's called The Connected Couple, you can find it down in the description box below. Just click on it, and as soon as me or someone on our team sees it, we'll go ahead and most likely approve you, as long as you're not going to do anything shady or anything like that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you do want to learn more about those advanced relational skills, please check out this video series over here, or you might want to check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please take care, have a great day, and let's get through this whole thing 2020 together. Take care.